What's going on, guys? Matty G back here with you on Football at Flags. Thanks so much for joining us as always. Today's video is all about women's football for the 2024 Olympics, going over each of the three groups and then trying to determine which of these three groups is going to be the toughest. It is a group of 12 teams that is incredibly competitive, and it's going to be certainly very difficult for any side to get through to the knockout stages to hopefully medal in these Olympics this summer. So we're going to go over each of these groups and then determine who we think is the toughest group to get out of. A quick look back, though, at this tournament and just some of the history behind it before we get to these groups. 3 of the 4 gold medal winners from this competition before are in the field. The United States, Canada, of course, being the most recent, and Germany. Norway is the only side that has won a gold medal before that is not involved in the competition this time around. 3 of the 5 silver medal winners are also involved, with the United States, Brazil, and Japan. Sweden nor China, unfortunately, obviously made the tournament this time around. Only 8 nations have ever medaled in the Olympics at all for women's football, and that is the United States, Germany, Canada, Norway, Brazil, Sweden, China, and Japan. And as you can see on the screen there, those 4 at the top, those are the only gold medal winners that we've ever had. And then the other 4, that's the highest that they've ever finished there in second place. Of course, some of these teams have finished with a bronze as well, but just showing where these teams have finished at the top and the best performance that they've ever had. Now, the first idea that we used in terms of trying to figure out who is in the toughest group with all of these teams is just going over and seeing where they're currently ranked in FIFA's world rankings and then averaging that together for all of the groups. So you've got Group A with France, who are currently ranked 3rd in the world. Colombia's ranked 23rd. Canada's ranked 9th. And New Zealand at 28th. That averages out to a 15.75 in terms of an overall ranking with those 4 teams. With Group B, you've got the United States ranked 4th. Australia is ranked 12th. Germany's ranked 5th. Very high for all of those teams, but unfortunately for Zambia, while they are a very good side, in terms of the FIFA rankings, they are down in 65th, which certainly drops that number and gives this group an average rank of 21.5. And then for Group C, you've got Spain, currently ranked the number 1 team in the world. Japan is number 7, and Brazil at 10. So 3 top 10 teams already is obviously going to help this average out very much so. And then Nigeria sits currently at 36. So the average for this group at the moment is 13.5. So Group C would take the cake in terms of this category. Now, I did want to throw in some recent form, especially in at least a major tournament as well, to kind of help with this argument. And so what we decided to do is take the total number of points that each of these teams scored during the 2023 World Cup, since all 12 teams were involved. Now, I did involve if 2 teams drew in the knockout stages, but then won or lost in penalties, they still got a point, because through those 120 minutes, it is technically a draw until it gets down to penalties, where the result is decided. But for Group A, 28 total World Cup points were given out there, with France leading the way, Colombia not far behind, and then Canada and New Zealand, obviously with just 4 points each, they did not get out of the group stage. But for Group B, they picked up only 23 points. The United States, obviously with just 6, they did get out with 5 points in the group stage, but had that draw against Sweden and then lost in penalties. Zambia only picked up 3. Obviously, Germany was a huge disappointment, and then Australia led the way, getting to the semifinals. They had 10 points. But then for Group C, this is really kind of the biggest, most drastic difference between these groups. With Group C, you've got Spain, who picked up 18 points. Obviously, they won the entire tournament. But then Japan picked up 12 themselves. Keep in mind, they beat Spain in the group stage as well, and wound up going unbeaten through those first three games. And then you had Nigeria get to the knockout stage as well, with Brazil, shockingly enough, out of all these teams in this group, the one team that did not wind up making it to the knockout stage, but they still picked up 4 points. So a total of 40 points for Group C. Now, this next category, obviously, certainly up for debate in terms of how much importance or relevance it actually has, but still wanted to at least go back and see how these teams have done in previous World Cups, how many total medals each team throughout the entire group has, because obviously experience is very important, especially for those who maybe have medaled in the last couple of Olympics. Obviously, some of those players could still be involved with the team moving forward, and that experience is certainly important. But going throughout the entire total history of the competition as well. As we look at Group A, there's only 3 total medals in this ever, and that's Canada with the only 3. New Zealand, Colombia, nor France have ever medaled in this competition. Obviously, I think France has a great opportunity considering they are the host this time around. but just 3 for Group A. Group B does lead the way, obviously, with the United States. They've had 6 total medals in this competition beforehand. Germany have 4 themselves, so that takes Group B to 10 alone, with Zambia and Australia yet to ever medal in this competition. And then for Group C, while it is obviously a very, very difficult group, Spain, this is the first time that they've ever appeared in the Olympics. Japan have only medaled once, and Brazil medaled twice. So just 3 total medals for Group C, interestingly enough. But Group B, obviously far and away the winner in this category, at least. Now, there's certainly plenty of more statistics and categories and different things we could debate in terms of which group is the toughest. But when you look at most recent results on paper, the players that these guys, these teams still have, and who's healthy as well, I think that's very important when deciding this. And for me, it's got to be Group C with the talent that Spain have, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. And the dominance that they've shown in the women's game over the last year and a half is just something you can't overlook. On top of that, you've got Japan, who have such a great technical ability, great ability to finish and be clinical in front of the net. Very difficult in possession as well, tough to get the ball off of. Really, really talented side. And then Brazil, with the spice and flair that they have going in the attacking third as well. There are different abilities to create chances, and the number of different players that can score goals is huge for them. Then on top of that, with how determined and solid Nigeria are, a great performance they had last summer in the World Cup. This team's physical, they're pacey, very fast, not only on the offensive side, but defensive as well, to get past and get behind. I think you have to go with Group C in terms of the toughest group out of these 3. And then when it comes down to Group B and Group A, I think it's very close, very tight, but I'm actually going to go with Group B as the second toughest, really just for those top 3, with the United States been up and down as of late, had a good CONCACAF W Gold Cup. I think Emma Hayes coming in and being in charge, she's going to really bring this team to a different level. Germany up and down as well, but I really think that hopefully by this summer they're going to maybe fix some of those kinks, be sorted out, and be ready to go. And then Australia trying to carry the momentum that they had from the World Cup last summer, defeating France, in the quarterfinal, getting to a semifinal. I think that's a huge opportunity for them to carry their good form going into this competition. And Zambia's not going to be anything to walk over. They had a very, very tough group to try and get out of last summer with Japan and Spain. This is unfortunately not going to be any easier, but I still think that they're going to give these teams a run for their money and give them a great shot. And I think while Group A might be a little bit tougher across the board, I'm not sure who's going to bring as much conviction as France. I think France, being on their home soil, is going to be very tough to beat. But then Colombia, Canada, and New Zealand, I think, could really battle it out for that second place spot. Canada had a good CONCACAF W Gold Cup. Colombia was in there as well before I think they got beat out by the United States. And New Zealand, kind of still a toss-up for me. I'm not sure how competitive they will be. I think they'll be tight in this group. I think they'll have a shot at the end to hopefully potentially get out. But still, I think Colombia and Canada maybe have a little bit better of an argument for one of those second-place spots. But overall, I still feel like just the dominance with those top 3 teams in Group B, or maybe a little bit more than what you see out of Group A. Well, guys, as always, thanks again so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And please let us know down in the comments as well your own predictions, who you think's the toughest group, who you think's going to be the toughest team to try and get by in this tournament. We've got predictions for this tournament coming up, along with the Euros, Copa, and some different things as well, along with World Cup qualifying. So, guys, make sure you stay tuned if you haven't already subscribed. And as always, guys, hope you have a great day. We'll see you soon. Peace.